right, hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are back to playing Arzium tonight. We are continuing our near, far, everywhere gears are campaign is what I decided to call it. And while doing my prep today, I was listening to a bunch of Celine Dion. So someone's going to drown, someone's going to survive. It's going to be fine. It's going to be great. So probably Gurgle's going to live because he can breathe underwater, so everything should be fine. You might notice there has been a slight cast change for tonight as Aaron unfortunately couldn't make it. So Steven is going to step in and is going to do his best to be positive in the manner that Aaron provided us last week. Steven, are you ready for
that? I'm known for my continual, endless optimism.
You guys notice that all three of the people in the bottom row right now have vaguely the same color shirts? Like it's like not even like a black shirt. Yeah. It's like a weird, like kind of gray brown. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. Anyhow, but yeah, we're back for another round of Arzium. Go ahead.
To be fair, I think Jeremy is the only one not coordinated.
Yeah,
oh, buddy.
Jeremy, you're gonna have to leave.
So, well, he is human, so makes sense.
Oh, that's a good point.
Also, you're muted, Jeremy.
I knew it. I was refusing to participate in your slander.
Fantastic. That's so odd. That's so weird. Jeremy not participating in slander.
I know.
It's weird. It's a weird night. We should also note that we've got a giveaway tonight. As our we are very fortunate as the people at Red Raven Games, who are the makers of Arzium, offered to give us a copy to give away. So we're going to be doing that later tonight. Over the last week, a couple people answered on the Discord. We're also going to let people who are in the Twitch chat tonight go ahead and enter as well. It is domestic shipping to the US only, but otherwise anyone can go ahead and enter. And somewhere around the midway point, when it makes sense, we'll do a draw, and then either myself or Melissa will reach out to you on Discord, and we will figure out how to get this good thing to you. So, are we all ready to go? We're good to get started.
Yep. Yeah, let's do it. Yep.
All right, then. Quick recap. All of you, with the exception of Steven's character, who will come into play when the time is right, are a group of travelers. You have been hitching a ride with a human trader by the name of Eldrin. You were traveling from the farming village of Lurkeen to the Toadfolk capital of And along the way, Eldrin's iron crawler broke down, and he asked you all to travel south to where he believes there is a ruined old factory deep in the forest. And also a fellow traveler by the name of Krista, a Zelgar, asked you to keep an eye out for some glow moss to help her with some hexite burns that she received when the crawler broke down. So you decided to venture a little bit south, cross this rickety bridge over this deep ravine, weird wind stuff going on. You found a hut that was perched on the cliffside, and you met an old woman by the name of Varna. Cecil, Gurgle, Sarla, you all went inside. Mac and Melka, you investigated outside, specifically the windmill, and you set free a bunch of animals that kind of started running rampage over her garden. Eventually, you were able to get them back in the pen, which was really just the windmill itself. You also found inside the windmill there was this giant gear with these Arzium engravings. Back in the hut, Varna told you all about her poor husband, Rickard, who fell from the bridge to his death many years ago. And she was only able to recover a set of bracers, which she gave to Gurgle after Gurgle found them by going through her stuff. And I think also Sarla stole some of her money, but Varna was like, go ahead and take it. It's fine. She also mentioned that there used to be a Fishfolk village to the west, but none of them have visited recently. And she also explained that the gear and the windmill came from some airship debris that she and Rickard scavenged before his death. And then Cecil, you managed to spice up her broth, and everyone had a little something to eat. Okay, so I'm going to bring you to the hex map so that you can so we can kind of look at where we're going. We're going to say we're picking up as to you've had your soup, your broth, and you've managed to get the animals back into the windmill pen. Anybody who wanted to inspect the gear was able to inspect the gear. And let's go ahead and do. All right. You pull you all over there. Sorry, the little bit echo on the music. All right, so let me bring it. So I try to make like a little map thing for the for the stream. So let's show you what that looks like. That's the wrong thing. Okay, so we are vaguely on what our hex map looks like. So the way this game basically works is we focus on quests, and quests all have a time, like a time limit. And as you travel around, there are various things that are going to take up that time. So right now, you all are at Varna's hut, right where this gear is. And then you all can see that there are these different lanterns I've placed in various locations near where the gear is. The one immediately to the west of you is just vaguely referencing the fact that you heard a rumor about some missing fishfolk. The one vaguely to the east of you is a rumor about Rickard's body having never been recovered. The one to the southeast of you is the rumor about a crashed airship that had like kind of dragged through the earth and eventually crashed into the mountain. And then to the south, you can see in one of those three forests, the ruined factory should be. You don't necessarily know which of those hexes it's going to be, but it's in one of those hexes. So we're going to move the active player to Sarla at this point. We'll say everyone has finished slurping up their broth. It's been about 3/4 of a day since you left your Eldrin trader. You only have a couple days before you're worried that maybe some danger might befall them back to the north where you left the Iron Crawler. So Sarla, as you have gathered everybody around after people have washed dishes, what are you all talking about and where are you deciding to go?
So, everyone, it's been quite the day. Do we think that we might want to hole up here for the evening and get some rest before we head out tomorrow?
Sun's gone down. It'll help us recover.
I agree with your plan.
What do you think of the gear outside?
I think there's a lot here for us to investigate tomorrow. I believe I looked at I believe last episode, I think I tried to look at the runes that were on the gear.
Yeah,
if I
so
remember
what you
correctly.
know, the only thing you really know is that they were Arzium engravings, or like they had that kind of language of like that sort of like the ancient empire that kind of collapsed, stuff like that. You know that it had some language there, and you know that from Varna that it was from an airship, and then specifically the engravings had something to do with wind, something to do with air and wind.
Girl, it does make me interested to perhaps check out the crashed airship on our way to the woods to the south.
We could certainly drop by.
Is there any place that anyone else wanted to stop by?
Well, the airship might have parts for the crawler, but you would know more about that than I would.
Probably the ruins of the factory. I agree going there would definitely make sense. Varna, would it be okay if we were to rest here for the evening?
And so you look over to Varna, and maybe she is with Cecil by the cauldron. And again, she's like looking over up at him. She's like,
what did you put in this? It tastes so lovely. Oh, I haven't tasted something so good, so sweet since my dear Rickard cooked for me so many years ago.
You know, the thing is, I put in beets any chance I get. They're good for you. They're superfood, and they're sweet, and they're good. I love them.
Beets? Oh, well, I do have a few beets growing in the garden out back. I should show you them before we leave. Perhaps they're the wrong kind of beets, because they don't taste nearly as sweet as these.
Oh no, there's no wrong kind of beet. They're just different. We'll look at them together. We'll find a good way to use them for you.
So the two of you go outside, and you immediately notice, Cecil, that the garden is absolutely destroyed. You can see there's all sorts of like root vegetables that have been ripped up out of the ground. And as she starts like looking down as best he can through her like, remember the gunk was kind of covering her eyes a bit, and she's feeling,
Oh my, what on earth happened? Oh dear, oh, it was those cracks again, wasn't it? Oh goodness, this is my whole, oh my, and this too.
and she's just kind of going through and picking up all of the various things that got torn up during the incident.
Now, did you know that they hate mint? Mint just makes them so unhappy. So what we're going to do is I'm going to plant a little bit of mint around your garden here. So next time they grab something, they're going to eat it. They're going to hate it. Maybe they won't come back again.
Oh, okay. That's very kind of you. Oh, it's so very kind.
And she reaches out and just kind of pats you on the arm.
You have such a kind way about you, just like Rika did. Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, the good die young. That's how it goes.
Oh, well, he was quite old, in fact, but he was good. He was good, yes.
So, do you decide to stay here? It is dark. You can see the sun has gone down. Night has fallen, or is about to fall. Do you want to stay here, or do you want to continue on to wherever it is you want to go next?
Starla wants to stay here. Like, this is a, seemingly a safe place for us to rest for the evening. So Starla would want to stay here.
Okay. If we do stay for the night, I'll offer to maybe take a look at whatever's on her eyes. Since I am, in theory, a doctor.
In theory, yeah, for sure. Okay, so we'll say you all ask her. She's more than happy to let you stay here. That's not an issue whatsoever. So you rest. You find places either inside or out to sleep for the night. If you would like to give us a roll, this would probably be a cunning test, I would think.
Okay.
Yeah, unless actually craft would probably be okay too if you're like specifically trying to like conjure up some kind of tonic or something to sort of help with whatever infection might be. Yeah,
I'll put a couple points into it. I'll put 2 in.
Are you doing by craft or cunning?
I'll do craft unless something is suggested. I'm willing to play ball.
Oh, I've one of either, I just realized, but I can assist you by spending points from my own attribute pool to increase the roll bonus.
So
cost
when you
is
assist
double.
somebody, it's a 2-to-1. It's a 2-to-1 cost. So you spend 2 points to give them a +1. That makes sense?
Okay, yeah. Because I do only have 1 in craft and 1 in cunning, can I just take 1 from both and give that to Jeremy for whatever he chooses to do?
Sure, I'll take that. It's fine.
Thanks.
Okay. Sweet. It'll be a D10 plus 3 then. I like it.
Okay.
How could I fail?
It's you.
I know.
You have a big bonus.
Yeah.
Here we go.
High chance to succeed.
All right, got a 9.
Nice.
Okay. You can tell that she does seem to have some kind of infection, and you would guess that she probably can see. It's just whatever is in her eyes has kind of oozing out and then crusting. And so maybe before you go to sleep that night, you and Melka come together. You create some kind of kind of tonic and maybe a compress you put over her eyes, and then come morning you're able to peel it back and you realize you've cleaned it up, and she's
I can see.
and her eyes go wide, but you can also tell that there's a significant amount of like cataracts over top of over top of the iris and whatnot, and you can tell that there's some discoloration in the sclera as well, but she's doesn't seem to be at all concerned with that, because she is very excited to reach out and actually see colors and kind of touch each person and get very close into your face, and she like reintroduces like you herself to all of you as she learns your names and tries to get your faces and not just your smells. So yeah, she can still see. She's got a little infection that'll probably clear up over time, and you've definitely made an old woman very happy.
That's good. It's a shame when nice people have such a hard time.
Oh, you're so very kind.
Now I can stop squinting.
You're so very kind. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, Rickard would be so happy that such nice people have come to help out a poor old woman all by herself. Thank you so much.
So, we'll say morning continues with you all getting some kind of breakfast, whatever it might be, and we move effectively into day 2. Whenever you rest, you can go ahead and restore your attribute points, whatever you've spent previously, and then you also gain 1 supply. And remember, a supply is like an all-purpose resource kind of thing.
Nice.
Sarla gains 2 because she's a scrounger.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I
there
should
are
take
some-
That's a good one.
Scrounger's great. Yeah, I had that in. This is and I should say that this takes technically 2 quarter days, so it's like the nighttime, earliest hours of day 2. So you all now have basically 7 quarter days left to get the thing that you need to get and bring it back to Eldrin. All right. So, Sarla, we're going to say that our active character is still on you. Where do we head next?
Varna, thank you so very much for your hospitality.
You're so welcome.
I'm very glad to see that Cecil, just great job, Cecil. It's so lovely to see your beautiful eyes, Varna.
Where are you going,
Off.
Max? Get the hell out of my hut.
We're off to the crashed airship.
Oh,
Perhaps we will
very
find some
good.
parts there.
Rickard and I, we scavenged through that years ago, but there's still some things there. I'm sure you could find something of use. It was. Be very careful up in the mountains. Be very careful. There are many dangerous creatures up there, and I wouldn't want anything to befall you.
Okay, so you're gonna spend time climbing up the mountain, and so that's exactly what we'll say you do. So one thing I'm gonna say is climbing up the mountain, I'm gonna ask for a supply from you, as climbing up the mountain is a much more difficult terrain. So this kind of requires some additional effort and some additional supplies, things like that to kind of help. There are times in which it is an inclined foothills, and there are other times when you're doing full-on climbing, and you're having to get batons and such and ropes out as you climb up all the way to the top. Eventually, however, you do find, without any issues, the ruins of this. It's very clear to you from a distance as you start seeing these huge chunks of metal and other debris that you would recognize from some kind of large flying ship. These are not uncommon in this part of the world, so all of you would know what this kind of stuff is, and you can see it from a distance. However, there's kind of 2 other things that you notice. The first thing you notice is that it's no longer intact. That's quite obvious. But you also notice that there appears to be gravestones that have been spread out in some way, and you can see that all around this kind of plateaued area in the mountainside, where it's kind of filled with shrubbery and grass and whatnot. You can see that there are these gravestones that have been kind of laid out, some of which are glowing, and there's stairs carved into the eastern side of this plateau that seems to go up and over a ridge and kind of down the eastern side of the mountain. And you can see a little bit further up the peak as the largest chunks and largest pieces of the flying ship. And you also notice that sitting on one of those steps is a person. Stephen, go ahead and describe who it is that we see sitting on the steps by this graveyard.
So you see a 4.5 foot tall hog folk. He has the face of a boar. He's got the thick brown fur, and he's not carrying a large pack, but he's got a satchel, and it just wraps around this military uniform, but it's not like a standard military uniform. It's a dress uniform. Like it's got all of the baubles and the decorations and the pins, and it's very, very shiny, and it looks very out of place for the terrain that you are in right now. But you can tell that it is very much well maintained. Would I see them all coming?
Very much so. Yeah.
Okay. So seeing you all, he would just jump up to his feet. Hello. Hi.
Hello.
People. Well, that is. I have found myself to be quite alone, which I admit I don't like being alone, and I'm not sure where I might be.
Why are you surrounded by graves?
Oh, don't worry, I did not kill any of them. That was not my doing.
Hello.
Introductions. I am Mart of the Hogfolk Republic.
Hey, Mart, I'm Gurgle.
It is your pleasure to meet me.
Starla.
Pleasure. All around. You all have the pleasure.
Yeah, I like music.
Interesting. What music do you like?
All of it.
How very specific.
Yeah.
Well, I happen to be lost, and I would very much appreciate it if you could give me directions. Have you seen any other hogfolk nearby? There'd be a lot of them. They carry big weapons.
No.
Oh.
Well, that is a shame.
You're the first one we've come across. We're coming from a caravan to the north.
Well, you have no idea how lucky you are that I am the first hogfolk you've met. The finest of our people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you see, we were on an iron crawler, and we have been sent out to try to find some parts to fix it and get it back moving again.
Oh. Looking at your clothing and gear here, would you happen to be a machinist yourself?
How very astute of you. Yes, in fact, I am.
I've been told I'm quite cunning. You would love visiting Krolmar. Have you ever been there before?
I don't believe so. How far away is that?
It's across the strait. It's a good journey. But Krolmar is the capital of the fine Hog Republic, and it has the finest engineers in all of the peninsulas. When you approach, the fortress is nigh impenetrable, and there are these beautiful yet functional cannons that are shaped like boar heads. You would be knocked off your feet, literally and figuratively, if hit by one.
Yes, I would prefer to not be knocked on my feet. And Sarla is a sturdy Krax who doesn't appear that she is knocked on her feet very frequently. That is wonderful information that I will keep away. At the moment, though, we were in this area trying to find out about a downed airship that might have some parts and go a bit south for...
I know where that is. And I turn and I point to it.
Yeah, it's right a little bit further up the peak. Like you can see it pretty clearly.
What a coincidence. Ooh. I'm lost and I help you with directions.
Now here's a man that ain't conceited, he just convinced. Thank you so much for your help.
Yeah, you can go join your friends again.
Yes, I look around. I will.
Or you can come with us.
Oh, would it be imposing?
Not at all. You just walk in front. Clearly you're a man who was meant to lead.
How did you know?
I got a nose for things.
I'm in the militia right now, as every good hog citizen is, but my tenure ends quite soon, and I will be running for Marquis of Molvond.
What's that?
Well, essentially, I'll be handling the accounting. Molvand. It's a port town. In the Hog Republic, of course. We have the finest timber.
Why would you want to deal with money and accounting?
Well, as your good friend here, I'm sorry, sir, I did not catch your name.
Yeah, that's my problem. I'm a rude man. I'm sorry. My name's Cecil.
Cecil, as your good friend Cecil here said, I am born to lead.
Mm-hmm.
A smart vote is a mart vote.
Okay, well, I guess you're going first up the mountain then.
Very well. And I turn and I start walking up the mountain, not really knowing where to go. So I probably start wandering the wrong way a bit.
Okay. So basically you're on a plateau, like a ledge right now that's fairly verdant, and there's all these different all these different graves. You can see it's all overgrown. They're old graves. A few of them are even growing here and there. You see off to the east there is like a carved set of stone steps that seems to go up and over a ridge, and then to the south, which goes further up the peak, you can see the debris of the actual whatever's left of that age-old airship crash, because the airship crashed a long time ago. So that's basically what you have. Easter steps, here is a graveyard, and then further up the peak is the actual crash. I think Sarla, you made the decision, so we're going to go. Active character is going to be Gurgle. I know that on the screen it says Steven, but he'll be the next one after Gurgle. So Gurgle, what do you do? Is there any one of those things that sounds particularly interesting? The steps, the graveyard, or the crash? Any one of those things you can particularly get access to right now?
Yeah, immediately I would go to the graves, see if there's any markings, there's names, what's going on here.
Okay, so you notice that there are... Okay, so many of them are overgrown, but you also notice that there are tombstones that all have like carved in them these kind of strange symbols. And a few of them, you can tell when you kind of cover your hand over top of it, it kind of cup it to get the light, to not hit it directly. You can see they glow in some particular way. You don't get a sense that these are names, but each one of them seems to be some kind of like sigil or image of some kind. It doesn't seem to be written out in a language. It's more just like a pictograph of some kind. You would guess just by looking at it that they're probably fairly old, and you're not entirely sure just by looking at it what is causing the glow. If you would like, give me a cunning test.
Okay, I'm rolling it straight. My 0 cunning.
Yeah. Or knowledge. Knowledge is fine. I'm sorry. It would be knowledge, probably.
Okay, I'll do knowledge and spend 1 point.
Okay, sounds good.
Got a 4.
Okay. You kind of cover, you shade your eyes a little bit, and when you put your hand down to kind of scrape off a little bit of whatever it is that's kind of causing the glow, there's like a moment where you just feel like this strange kind of drain happen on you, and you just feel your hand and your finger kind of turn this almost necrotic like color. It's like kind of black and yellow. Take a point of damage as you do so, because you realize that you've somehow disturbed whatever kind of seal on this grave might have been. The good news is that as you pull your finger away, seeing it in it's like this dark kind of necrotic color, you do see there's a little bit of residue of which you know to be glow moss on your finger. It's not a lot, but you would know that that's exactly what it is. It just seems slightly grown on top of it.
These graves get best of me. Careful touching those. What there's glow moss about?
Oh, didn't you need glow moss?
Yeah, that's the one.
Well, then
How
let's
much
just
of
do a
it
little
do you
bit of grave
need?
robbing to help your friend. I kid.
Do you need more than what you have?
It's only a scrape. You don't need a lot more.
But
And does
You're
this
fine. It's a good
beds.
sign.
go back to normal after pulling his finger back?
No, not currently.
Oh.
It's still like dark and you could see it almost
Oh,
looks like it's
no.
infected, and like you're not sure if it's cursed, or you're not sure if it's corrupted, or you're not sure if it's just infected. But something about scraping along the tombstone seems to have released whatever sort of magical thing was sealed within here, which would also suggest that trying to go through and scavenge and scrape all of this off the tombstones might result in some bad things.
Sure.
Now, I would say that, Mart, you would know, having just sat on the stones, that if you climb up those steps, you would know that ridge looks over top of a very steep waterfall that goes all the way down many hundreds of feet into a large lake. And that there are these very precarious steps that you think kind of went down the eastern side of the mountain as well, that kind of parallels the steep drop of the waterfall. So anybody who knows anything about glow moss, it's probably grows in some subterranean but also watery area, and who knows, maybe there's a cave or something along the eastern slope of the mountain.
Oh, my good sir, did you say you need glow moss? I didn't hear you at first.
Yes, you know about it.
Well, I would not say that I'm a horticulturist by any means. However, I do believe I know a place you might be able to find it.
Point me in the direction.
Follow me. And I clap him on the back and I start going up the stairs to like the other side across
Okay,
the...
you go up basically like a flight or two, reach a peak, and it's kind of a flattened area, and you can see for a great distance to the east, and you can see like this huge valley just unfolds before you off to the east. It's a beautiful clear day, and then you can see the same steps seem to kind of wind and weave their way down the eastern side of the mountain, and you hear this massive rush of water as there is this foaming waterfall that is just pouring out the side of this mountain and just careening, collapsing all the way down to this lake below. It's hundreds of feet below, but you're pretty sure there is a significant amount of water down there. And not only that, but now that you look at it in the light of day, you can see that out there in the middle of the lake, you're not sure if it's an island, you're not sure if it's a boat or something, but there's something relatively, or a town or stilts or something floating along somewhere in the lake off to the east.
You look to be quite a good swimmer, but I'd still suggest you don't jump.
Bit treacherous, but I've seen worse.
Oh, have you? Where?
Some rickety ponds.
A rickety pond is worse than this.
You never know. Till you see it.
Well, I suppose not. Shall we descend?
I'll lead the way.
I'll follow.
Okay. So as the two of you begin to descend and look for any signs of like a cave that slips behind the waterfall, Melka, Cecil, and Sarla, you were back by, like, you guys haven't left a hex yet, so you guys are still close enough together if you want to do other things. The rest of you are back by that plateaued graveyard. What did the three of you do?
Well, I guess they're adventuring. Do we want to go with them, or did we want to take a look at the airship?
I definitely want to take a look at the airship. Cecil?
I'm going to stay here for just a little bit with the graves.
Well, I can help with one of those. Do either of you need help?
No, I'm good. You go ahead there. I don't know what to do with an airship, no how.
Okay. Sarla, we can be best friends today.
I'm looking forward to going through the remains of this airship with you.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
Okay, so the two of you climb up the rest of the way.
Good luck.
And
It's a three-way split.
Yeah. You guys are still in the same hex. I like how the whole like don't
Jeff
split the
told
party
us
thing.
not to split.
It's literally in the rules. I was talking to Steven earlier today. I was talking to Steven earlier today, and we were talking about what's interesting, like the dynamic of players and GMs and the things that people just assume are okay behavior. And it's just always fun when players are like, let's just make Jeff's life more miserable. Okay, so the two of you climb up the peak. I'm so glad I chose to run games for you guys. You guys climb up the rest of the peak, the two of you. And you start sifting through the wreckage. The first thing you notice is that this wreckage has been here for God knows how long. Everything's overgrown. Like, this isn't a recent crash. And she specifically said, Varna did, that her and Rickard had scavenged. And you know that he's been dead for like literally like 20 years or something like that. And it does have that feel. It does have the feel like there is just not a whole lot of there's not a whole lot here that to suggest that this has been functional. You notice that everything's overgrown. There's still a lot of large beams and planks and things. And you hear the sounds of stuff scurrying. You can tell there's some kind of small little ecosystem as like bugs will come out and then slip back in, like a large caterpillar peek out and then will kind of duck back into the shadows. But if you wanted to spend some time scavenging, you certainly could. Is that the plan?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Definitely would like to do that.
Okay. All right. So as you go through this,
That's a lot of rolling.
well, because it's giving me the same thing over and over again. It's like giving me it keeps I made these charts and these tables from the book in Foundry. Let's try this instead. Okay. That'll like as you go through it, a lot of this stuff you could tell, first of all, has been picked clean, so there's not a lot of good stuff. But as you're going into some of these like hidden pockets, you do find some rope, which gives you +1 to any kind of climbing challenges. It can be used to tie things up or tie things together. And then you do find at one point something very, very interesting. As you see it kind of half buried in this in like the rock. You almost ignore it for a moment because it's just with a bunch of other debris. But you do feel like as you're looking at it, it just seems to push this small caterpillar that climbs up this pile of rocks. It just sort of pushes it away. You just see it kind of get reverberated through the air. And you find what's called a storm stone. So a storm stone is it's basically a consumable. So it's 1d. So essentially it does 1d4 energy damage. It's a ranged thing that you can do. The target has to succeed at a strength challenge or be moved out of a group. And you also find like tucked underneath it looks to be someone's small like personal items or personal little small box, like a cigar box. And in it, you can see that there are 6 coins in here as well.
Oh, well, I actually already have rope, so you can definitely have that. And probably we should share, especially, I guess Mart really likes coins.
Oh, we shall see, perhaps, how long Mart sticks around with us, maybe?
Oh, well, okay, so we hold on to it and then wait and see if he's our friend first?
I think so. Well, we can
Okay.
divvy it out, perhaps when we get back.
Oh, okay.
It's actually 15 coins, by the way.
Oh,
Ooh.
Sorry.
yeah, we can wait until Mark goes away.
Misread.
And what was the name of the stone? I apologize, I didn't write it down.
Storm
It's a
stone.
storm stone. It's a
Stone.
consumable item in game. Okay. Meanwhile,
Excellent.
Cecil, you were lingering by the graves. What is it you were lingering by graves to do?
I think like one of the things I rolled for Cecil is he's normally feeling troubled. So like a cursed graveyard kind of doesn't sit well with him.
Sure.
And he'll just kind of meander across. He doesn't maybe understand exactly what the nature of what's going on. But he'll take out like what looks like this very old, beat up thermos. It's been, polished a while, but it's clearly like an old, beat up old thing. And he just kind of walks to each grave and drips like one little drip of the container on each room. I'm very sorry to all of you. I don't know what caused you to be here. I'm sure you don't want this to be your final place. I'd like to give you one last bit of nourishment. Hope you can maybe move on, find something better. Have some peace. You all deserve it. And just, whether it does anything or not, I basically see like the cook is the equivalent of a cleric in this setting to some extent.
Sure. Give me a craft test.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put 2 into that. So really, for him,
Nice.
It seems like a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay. D10. I have no clue what that was. 10 plus 2. Okay, thank you for the +2.
Okay, with an 8, that's a success. You take your thermos and you start sprinkling it over the grounds of the graveyard. And as we said before, like everything was fairly gnarled and overgrown. But as you sprinkle it around, you do notice that kind of in a small area or radius around wherever it is you sprinkle, you see some of that thorny overgrowth just begins to sort of retreat back a little bit. You can see like the tarnished dark color of it, similar to what was on Gurgle's finger, begins to fade a little bit. Things kind of become a little bit greener. You can even see in one place or another what looked like this dark, sharp thorn suddenly sprouts this colorful flower at the end of it. And maybe you don't get the entirety of the graveyard, but you do get like a decent chunk of the graveyard begins to sprout in these various colors. And you get the sense that you've made progress, and like you have over time, you think with the seeds that you've effectively planted here, it'll slowly kind of spread and possibly help this place come out of whatever shadow it's in.
Very nice.
Hey.
Okay. Meanwhile, Gurgle and Mart, you are climbing down the side. And I'll say that eventually both of you notice, maybe when you're about 50 feet or so down the steps, you're still well high above on this mountain, right? But you do notice that off of the steps and along the side of the mountain, you start to see that there seems to be an opening behind the waterfall. It is not easily accessible. It could be a very dangerous attempt to try to climb across like this small little rocky ledge to get behind the waterfall. And then you notice that once you get close to the waterfall, everything's wet. But that is definitely the first sign of a cave that you've seen. But if anywhere would have cave moss or glow moss, it would probably be in there.
Behind the waterfall.
These stairs are so much easier on the way down.
You say you made it up from here.
Oh, yes, I came up the stairs on this side, and I went down the other side, and I came up on that side, and came down on the... Or did I start on that side? I don't remember. I've climbed the stairs a lot, trying to remember where... Anyways, that cave looks quite dangerous.
Yeah, that's where the glow moss is.
Perhaps we should find your companions and tell them that we're going in the dangerous cave.
When they look up at the ledge, we can shout at them.
Hello!
Oh.
Unfortunately, the sounds of the waterfall are just so loud that it kind of
we're already yelling at each other.
There's no possible way they could hear you. The perils of splitting apart.
They know we're down here. We only split for a second.
Oh, it's been a bit and they haven't followed. I assumed when we started going down, they would follow.
I thought the same.
Especially since
Are
Gurgle's the active player and everything. It's so weird.
No. I might suggest, I do have some experience with this, that when you lose sight of your friends, sometimes it's hard to find them again.
That makes sense, seeing as how you are now. But I can make it there and back in a jiffy.
Okay. Perhaps I've already climbed these stairs like 5 times now, and I admit that my legs are very, very tired. But perhaps I go back up and tell them where you're going.
You're leaving me by myself.
I would rather not.
Then let's stay together, Mott.
All right, we'll both climb up together.
You can split the party again, though.
We'll wait on them then.
Okay. Okay, so eventually we'll say as Milka and Sarla explore, and eventually they get to the point where they don't don't think you have anything anymore. You come back, you see the graveyard has changed. Cecil there, you've done whatever kind of lifting of this curse that you've been able to do, or at least get the ball rolling in that direction. You realize that Mart and Gurgle haven't returned yet. Maybe one of you peeks down the ridge and you can see there they are, arguing with one another, it seems, or at least having a civil argument. And they are about, 30, 50 feet down this kind of winding stone stair.
You think Mart's going to push him off the cliff?
Oh, that I believe that would be humorous, but perhaps unwise.
I think that they're making friends. This is maybe how they're making friends.
That's how I make friends too. I yell at people.
Cecil, the graveyard, you did such a good job with that. It's just looking better.
Yeah, no, that's just, no, that wasn't me. That's how it was meant to be. I just, no, that wasn't me.
You did. It's great. It's just great. Hello. And Sarla tries to yell over the waterfall. As we kind of get back behind it, she kind of yell to Mart and Gurgle.
You didn't make it very far.
And suddenly all five of you are at the same level on the staircase as you discuss and get all down. Come on, guys, let's go. All five of you together on the stairs.
I imagine that Gurgle and Mart have been standing here talking for so long that the mist has just soaked us. Because Sarla and Melka were exploring for a while, and Cecil was planting, and all we did was go down some stairs.
What have you found here?
This cave behind the
Did you find
waterfall.
glow moss?
Did you get the globe moss?
It should be back here.
I recommended that we did not go spelunking without you all present. The buddy system.
Safe. We can
Are
continue
you afraid of go-glows?
Go-glows?
Yeah.
I'm afraid. I don't know what go-glows are.
Oh. Well,
Mart would know what a Coco is.
Yes.
Steven
That is
probably
one
doesn't,
very sheltered
but
life.
Mart would know.
that's
Yeah.
shocking
no
to me.
Okay. There is a cave behind the waterfall that you think probably has some glow moss if you decide to go over there. There is a ridge between this staircase and where that cave is that looks very treacherous. There's also a staircase that goes all the way down to the eastern side of the mountain and what looks to be some kind of boat or town or island in the middle of the lake. And you also know that this is not the side of the mountain in which the forested ruins of the factory might be. Clock is ticking. At this point, I'm going to say with the amount of time you guys have lingered up here, I'm going to go ahead and hit another quarter day on your quest timer. So I think it's Gurgle. Gurgle, what do you do? Do you try to climb across?
I'm going to loot myself with some rope and the other end to the other party members and cross the ledge.
Okay, give me a reflexes test. Because you're using a rope, you do get a +1 on this.
I'll spend one reflex for another.
Could I assist as well, spending 2?
Anybody who's actually going across is going to have to make the roll themselves. So if you're all of you are going to have to roll. So if you want to try to assist somebody else, you can, but you're all going to have to make the roll if you want to try to get into the back of the cave. All of you can take advantage of the rope. I'm fine if you guys tie yourselves together around each person's waist or something. So all of you can eventually roll reflexes with a +1 from the rope, but you're all going to eventually have to roll it yourself. So you might as well just go ahead and do that. We'll start with Gurgle, who's leading the way.
Roll 11.
Okay. You make it across. Maybe the wetness of the rock doesn't really seem to affect you as much as it might others. You're so used to the wet, slippery rock and stone that you're able to very easily slip behind the waterfall, put one of your feet down on the interior of the cave. It's slick, it's wet, it's dark. You smell the water itself. It's not salty, but it's definitely fresh water, but it nonetheless is a refreshing, cool feeling as it hits you. Melka, what did you roll? Let's go you next.
I rolled 2 with 1, so I'm going to use the memory knot.
Yes.
So if I fail a roll, I can make a memory knot and turn the die to its max number. Then you share a short memory from your character's past explaining why the memory will help you in the specific situation. You can use 3 knots per level. Okay, so this will be one of my knots. So I guess as the rope kind of slips out of her hand, she regrips it and remembers back to when she was a young little lizardling, but 2 inches tall, with a horde of other little tiny flying lizards. Well, she's 6 feet tall now, to be fair. You know how crocodiles start, like about yay big.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the brood of tiny little lizards was scattered to the wind, and she hadn't quite figured out how to fly with her wings yet, and fell down the rock instead until she grabbed the side of it and was able to scamper back up. And she reenacts that.
Okay. So as you nearly slip at one point, you're able to kind of scramble and then join Gurgle behind the waterfall. Cecil, how did you do?
That's a good question. Great.
Okay. That's a 9 with Cecil without any issues whatsoever. You've been in kitchens. Floors get slippery. Like, you keep your balance without an issue.
He yells corner for some reason. It's confusing.
Very good. Very good. And then Sarla, how did you do?
So I did spend a reflexes just to make sure, and I got a 10.
Okay. So the 4 of you managed to all make it behind the waterfall, leaving just your new friend, ? Mart. Does Mart join them behind the waterfall?
Yeah, Mart is going to follow. I'm going to spend 2 reflexes because I would have spent it assisting anyways.
Okay.
And I get 9 total.
9 total. So without issue, you are, maybe it's all that hog folk militia training. You keep your balance.
Climbed a lot of ropes during
Absolutely.
basic.
And the 5 of you find yourselves behind this waterfall. It's very, you can tell like where the water is, like it's very light where you're standing, but very quickly you can tell that the light goes away, and very quickly it becomes extremely dark. Do any of you actually have torches?
I have sticky oil.
Me too.
Which
That is not the same. But the good news is if you don't have it, you have the ability to craft a makeshift item in this game. So one of you could try to roll a craft test to make a torch. So to make makeshift equipment, you spend supplies and you roll a craft test to create makeshift equipment, including weapons, armor, tools, rope, fishing pole, torch, etc. The cost is 2 for a weapon or an armor, 1 for small tools such as a rope or a torch. So you could spend a supply, make a craft test, and then you could potentially get a torch out of that.
Okay, so yeah, I've got oil and rope, and I'll spend 2 craft for this, and I'll spend the supply. And I forgot, because of my machinery, I actually get a ton of supply when I sleep. So I am oh wow. So I rolled a 2.
Memory knot, if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, even with the +2, that's not gonna do much. So memory knot, I just overdo it with the oil. It's just not working particularly well, but I'm having to kind of like take some foliage or something that's kind of nearby, and just kind of get this back to, kind of an amount of oil that will kind of make a good lantern, kind of at the end of a branch or something. And so kind of at the end of it, she has a torch. But she has to recall the time when she almost burned herself doing something like this, because she put way too much oil the first time she tried to make one of these, and almost sends someone's eyebrows off.
Okay. And so it takes a little doing, but you eventually get a torch going. And as you light it up, you can see the cave starts to glow this orange-yellow hue. You can see that it goes deeper into the mountain itself, kind of going further and further in. You can hear dripping. You can see things You can see like veins of what looks like precious metals and stuff glistening. You can see an occasional like small tuft of moss, nothing enough, but you can see it here and there, and it kind of speckles along the walls and kind of almost seems to like highlight a path going deeper into the cave. I think at this point we're going to switch the active player to Mart. Mart, you see this dark cave in front of you. Your new friends are here on a mission, and either you aid them and stay with friends, or you don't and you lose friends again. So what does Mart do?
Well, you prepped me for this ahead of stream. You said if I don't go with the group, then you'll just boot me from the Zoom chat.
That is true.
So
I'm very close
I'm
to
going to go with the
several
group.
people from the Zoom chat. In fact, it's going to be me and Long the whole time.
I would like to assist them in the hopes that they will then turn around and assist me in finding where I belong.
Okay. So, Mart, as you then push a little bit deeper into the cave, you come to the darkest, most recessed point, and you see as you kind of peek over what looks like a ledge, there is this huge cavern below. And you can see at the bottom of that cavern, there's bright light. It's a good 100 feet down, but you can see bright light all over. You can see stuff dripping, like water dripping down from the caves above, these huge stalactites and such kind of hanging down, and all of them are dripping and dropping. And you can just see down 100 feet or so, it is just this beautiful glowing underground, maybe reservoir or lake of some kind. But you would recognize a very fertile patch or growth of the moss that these folk are looking for.
Oh, I believe that right there is the glow moss you wanted.
That's it. Let's start making our way down. Could we craft a pulley of some sort? Use this as a well.
Do we have 100 feet of rope?
I've got some rope. Sure, someone else has some rope.
I also have some rope, yes.
I also have some rope.
Okay. If you want to make a pulley system that tries to scoop up like some of the moss at the bottom of this huge patch, what I would say is the three of you who have stuff, burn a supply to not just get the rope, but kind of get maybe a bucket and a scrape or something like that as you're going to try to basically fish. And then I'm going to have Gurgle, since Gurgle is a fishing master, make us a little roll for fishing as you try to see if you can fish up enough of this stuff without climbing all the way down.
All right, what's a fishing check?
Okay, I don't know. That's a great question. What is a fishing check?
We can craft it since we kind of like made something. I'm fine with craft. I would say craft, reflexes maybe. Either of those is probably good with me. Okay, I'll do reflex and spend 2 points.
Okay.
Nice.
How good are you at claw games?
Pretty good. 11.
Nice.
It takes longer to put together this pulley system, this makeshift device, than it does for you to drop and scoop it up. You take up one big bucket, you set it off to the side, you drop it back down, and it just lands, and you see the shimmer and the shifting of it. And then you pull up another one and another, and I'll say that you get a total of, let's call it 4 glow moss.
Well done. It's a quality bucket. Got all the glow moss we need.
Okay. So, with that out of the way, you have a decision to make. You could try to return back, but the problem is you still don't have the replacement parts that you need to actually get the iron crawler going up. You could try to head eastward to see whatever this is in the middle of the lake, see if it's like a boat or something you potentially trade with. You could try to head west or southwest back down the mountain and start searching into the forest. Kind of where we're at. What would you all like to do? What are those choices?
Well, I would
Unfortunately-
say the last time I saw my group, there were a lot of trees around.
Okay.
Well, there
Okay.
are not trees here. So, and unfortunately, I was not able to find what we would need in the airship ruin. So we definitely do need to go to the factory ruin in the woods.
Yeah, that does seem true. Gotta, actually finish the job at hand.
You think this
Okay,
cave cuts
should-
through? Can we make it to the other side?
Certainly
I-
possible.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a spelunker to know.
Oh, you kidding? You look like a natural leader. You could do it. You just gotta set your mind to it.
Well, I never said I couldn't do it. I just said I wouldn't know.
No, there's no wouldn't. You just you never tried before. That's all. You're
I
a
think that's
natural.
what I was saying.
It
Of
would
course,
seem
yeah.
perhaps if we want to make sure that we get back to the wreck on time, perhaps we retrace steps we've done before, get ourselves back on the west side of the mountain near the woods and start looking there and do our exploring in a wooded area. We can get lost inside this mountain for days.
Oh, I don't look forward to climbing those stairs again. I do think that's a good plan.
We equally
agree with
likely to die
everyone.
either place. That's okay by me.
You're a
Mark, you're
depressing
the
fellow.
active player, so you actually get
Oh,
the call.
yeah,
here.
we're going back up the stairs.
okay.
Out of
go
the
back-
cave, up the stairs.
Okay, so ignoring Gurgle's suggestion to explore the mountain cave further
Yeah,
to see if
fuck
there's
you,
a way
Gurgle.
out. What was that, Mark? What? Language.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
wow.
That to our charming game.
How do you do that? This is a whimsical fun game. We are very sorry for
That
what
was
you just heard
a-
from Steven.
It was a whimsical F-bomb. I don't know.
Whimsical F-bomb.
Whimsical F-bomb. All right. So you climb up out of the cave. You climb up the steps back to the peak of the mountain, and you begin descending the western side. So go back to the hex map for a second. There are two bordering forest hexes with this mountain that you're climbing down. One that's directly to the west and one that's to the southwest. Do you have a preference on which one you would go to there?
Would they know that the factory ruins are to the southwest?
They know that they don't know specifically. I just put the lantern there. All they got was that it was in a forest to the south. Whether it's that specific one where I put the lantern or either of the other two, they don't actually know.
Going to the west.
Okay. So you move over. Go ahead and move yourself. Actually, no, I guess I'll just go ahead and do it. So we'll say you move over one to the west, and the climb down the mountain isn't, particularly difficult. But by the time you get there, it is starting to rain a little bit. And so you can see that there is a little bit of a mist that's kind of kicking up out of the forested ground. You notice that as you come down the western side, marked, there appears to be it looks like a series of wagons. They don't look like anything pulled specifically by like an iron crawler. They look more rustic in a way, like something at a Lurkeen or some of these other farming villages. But you can see as you arrive that there's this line of them, and they're all broken down. They're all on the side of what appears to be a path that comes down from the lake to the northwest. You can see some of them have been tipped over. Others are like kind of half sunken into this mud. And you can see that there are a handful of trees that have kind of started to dip towards them, almost like the trees themselves are in this slow kind of fate of falling. You can see a bunch of different crates and belongings have spilled out and seem to have gotten caught up in the middle of this muck in the ground. And you don't see anyone in particular, but you do see what looks like the remains of a campfire.
Well, it appears some danger has befallen this supply caravan. But someone else's misfortune is our fortune. We get to take inventory. And I pull out a notepad and I start heading towards the wagons.
Okay. Does anybody else follow him to do that? Or are you all just going to ditch him?
Can we... Are we able to assess is the gunk something that we would recognize as being dangerous or anything?
Yeah, and that's probably something that dawns on you as you watch Mart take a few steps towards, and you see he just begins to sink with each step until suddenly, Mart, you are just drifting and sinking into it with great expediency. More than that, all of you start to feel the earth begin to sort of sink in on you as well. And you look down and the mud has spilled up around your ankles or your shins. All of you seem to be somewhat in some kind of gook or quicksand or shifting muck. But Mark most certainly has the worst of it, as he is kind of up to his stomach or his chest at this point.
We're in a bit of cheeky muck.
Oh
But
no.
stop making much of a fuss. We'll still sink.
I've already sunk. Please help.
Are the carriages sinking or are they stationary?
It looks like some of the wagons that are like half sunk, you can tell they might still be sinking very slowly, but you notice that Mart, as he's like kind of, please help. Anytime he moves or shifts, he seems to sink faster. You all standing still are sinking very, very slowly, as are the various belongings that are up there sinking as well.
Okay. Can I fly to the top of one of the carts?
Yes, you can. I'm gonna require a strength test first to see if you can wrench your legs free from the muck that has started to wrap around your ankles.
Okay. Bad news. Strength is my 0. Let's take a look
fine.
here.
You got a memory another 2 left, right?
Dice. This one. Oh, I rolled a 7. Okay.
Perfect. That's all you needed. You suddenly springboard yourself up in the air, kind of bounce off one of these, maybe a parkour off one of these trees, and you're able to glide the rest of the way over, and now you're on top of this wagon.
Okay. And I'll grab the rope out of my inventory and see if I can't toss it, half of it, over towards Mart and
no roll necessary. You can toss that down. Mart, you scramble for it. You now have this rope. However, from this position, Milka, as you're looking around and you can see all these different crates have kind of scattered open, you do see 1 or 2 of them have spilled open, and there's these glowing bits and such that are kind of beneath the muck. It seems like there might have been some very interesting cargo that is currently sinking deeper and deeper into this quicksand.
Precious stones aren't friends, Jeff.
What? I mean, they can be. This is so weird. No, this is it's not how this works. This is supposed to work with Kipser.
They're not friends.
It's I just watched one of the Mirror Universe episodes of DS9. This is basically what this is. Oh god. Just put a little goatee on Kipser, and that's what it is. Okay. But yeah, you do see some. So do you just want to pull him up?
Yes.
Okay. So while this is happening, Cecil, Gurgle, and Sarla, I don't want to take, if any of you wanted to do something, you are right now you're holding still and you're very slowly sinking. And you see that Melga has leapt up and she is trying to throw this rope out and try to help Mart out. Are the 3 of you doing anything?
Sarla also has rope, so Sarla would toss rope to Gurgle. Because Milka's taking care of Mart, so Sarla would throw her rope to Gurgle.
Okay.
Grab on, I can get you out.
Grab on.
Okay. I mean, you're both in it, so you're both relatively at the same level, so I didn't really...
I think Sarla assumes, because she's got a lot of strength, that she's going to be able to,
Okay.
She's confident.
Okay.
It may not be called for, but she's confident.
Okay. Fair
Holding
enough.
it, but we're both stuck here.
So I'm going to roll. I'm going to spend 2 strengths and roll. Let's see how this roll goes. I rolled an 8, so that's a 10.
Okay, so you basically pull you and Gurgle out, kind of further south and onto kind of the drier land that isn't shifting beneath your feet. Okay, leaving Cecil all by himself, abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to do?
Now, the good thing is, as a chef, I understand the idea of surface tension and various mediums having different ways that you spread the weight across it. And I do have myself a pot lid that I'm going to do. I'm going to put my arms wide. I'm going to put my legs wide. I'm going to put that pot lid out in front of me and just very slowly kind of frog myself across the top, trying to skim, slow and calm.
Mm-hmm. And as you do that, you realize you haven't seen Mac in quite some time. Where the hell did he go? As you start making these frog things, like, did we leave him at Varnus? Did anyone wake him up and let him know we were leaving? And it dawns on
I'm
you
sure
he's
he's
not
just going to
around.
fall off like an edge somewhere on top of me, probably give me a concussion tomorrow. And that's going to be fine. That's just the way it goes.
Okay, give me a strength test then, Cecil.
Okay, I will. And I'll put a +1 on that, just in
boy.
case.
All right.
Do.
Oh, no.
Ah,
That's a 3.
Oh.
Would you like the memory,
Okay.
not that?
I think I'm trying to think of like a good memory knot for it. Yes, I would.
Okay.
I think maybe there's some situation where like you see a young Cecil just, I know it's a terrible phrase to use, but like comically poor, like wearing like literally a potato sack as the equivalent of his clothing.
Okay.
And it's raining. There's guards. He's clearly stolen some food and he's trying to get away. And he's like trying to swim through some muck, but he's holding a bag of food that he's trying to swim with and just kind of doing the thing where he's like pulling himself as best he can to get it up and out. And he loses like half the food by the time he pulls himself out of the gunk, but then saunters away back to where his little hidey hole with the other folks are.
And as we come back in, we see like that memory fades away. In the present, we see Cecil kind of swimming and kind of climbing himself onto this drier rock area where Sarla and Gurgle are sitting. Meanwhile, back in the mud, Melka, you've thrown the rope. Mart, you've grabbed the rope. Melka, you've seen many a glowing thing that seems to just be disappearing into the muck.
Not
And
friends.
Mart, you suddenly hear, "Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my sweet sunshine." And you look over and you see sinking into the muck about 10 feet from you, there is a skull with these relatively glowing eyes, and that seems to be singing to you. "Twinkle, twinkle, little star," over and over. But each time they go to sing, some mud starts to, and you can almost not see them at all anymore.
Hello. Do you need help too?
And they try to sing, but at this point, the mud is fully in their mouths, and all you can see now are the eyes and the forehead, and they're continuing to sink. Do you either try to climb up the rope that Melka has thrown to you? Do you just sit there and die? Or do you try to swim over and save this singing skull sinking into the muck?
Jeff, you keep trying to get me to die or leave the group. I feel like you
You're
regret
here for
asking me
one
to.
episode.
We're going to eat you.
Well, Steven makes that
I'm going to bury
decision.
you in the sand.
Told him that.
I don't know if he's
You're gonna be
too much of a troll.
delicious.
You're gonna make
Well,
him into
Steven
bacon.
makes that decision. Jeff, you could do a draw or a giveaway while he's
I could.
thinking about dying.
All right, I can do that now. Sure. I was going to do that in a minute, but I'll say this. I already have a few entries, but if you are in Twitch right now and you would like, and you are within domestic US for shipping, we are giving away a beautiful, wonderful copy of Arzium right here. If you would like to be entered into a win, I'm going to literally draw it in the next like 2 minutes. So if you want to be entered, go ahead and type hashtag Arzium into the Twitch chat. And we're going to go ahead and draw from that. And we're going to draw from our Discord users and stuff that entered as well. So you have the opportunity to do that. So while you all are getting in, we're going to get Mart's decision.
Would I be able to like grab the rope and like twist it around an arm, but not actually pull towards Melka and just swim towards this skeleton?
You certainly could. You certainly could. What that
That's
would
what
do
I'd
to
like to
Melka
try.
on the other side of the rope is an interesting question.
She can fly.
Mm-hmm.
And we're friends, so I want her closer to me. So I think this is going to be okay.
Okay. I would need a strength test from you, Mart,
Yep,
and I'm
no
going to need a
strength.
difficulty 10 as you're trying to swim through the muck. So you need a 10 on this.
Difficulty 10.
Mhm.
Let me just check. Yeah, I've got nothing here other than just straight strength I can spend on it. So we'll spend 2 strength and see how we do. We'll rip it. Does the rope give me +1?
You're not climbing in this case, so no.
Ah! 10
Oh my
on the
God.
dot.
He gets it. 8 rolls an 8 +2. You manage
Nice.
to swim through. Your head is now. Oh, it's like the muck is almost all the way up to your neck in the process, but you're able to swim your way over, and you reach down just as you see the skull sinking. You grab
I've
it,
got you.
and you grab this skull. You can put in your inventory the magical item Singing Skull, which will give you +2 cunning once per day.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
So how flavorful. Have a singing skull that gives you cunning.
Mhm.
Right?
However, you've made it over. You've grabbed this thing. Melka, I need a strength test probably from you to see if you can pull him out of this.
We do have some
Oh.
audience pluses,
Yeah.
by the way, and I forget
Can
what we were doing with
Uh-huh.
those, but we do have some.
Is it
Nothing. I don't recall.
plus
I don't-
one per
No,
per audience?
Sorry.
Plus one?
No. Maybe if your team members were on this wagon with you, it would have been an easier thing to do.
We can't fly there.
You ran into the metal.
I think what we'll do, maybe we'll give you like a, jeez. All right, you could take I'll say you could take a +1 from an audience bit. Yeah, you can take a +1.
Hey, all right, I will do that. As I have no strength, so I need a 9 or above.
Roll well. Roll well.
Oh, I got a 0, which is 10.
That's a 10.
Yay!
That's great. That's fantastic. As you're
On
able to
my-
like, you're just pulling and pulling and pulling, and eventually you fish this hog folk up out of the muck. This tarnished skull in his hand, and the two of you and the skull are now on top of this wagon.
What's it singing?
Right now, there's a lot of muck in its mouth.
I'll clean out the mug.
So you clean out the muck, and it's like near, far, wherever you are.
I know this
That's what
one.
it's singing.
Melka will pull out her guitar and start playing along.
So I honestly don't really know the words. I just kind of know the sounds. So say it with the skull. So that's what you get in your inventory. Okay. Melka, are you going to try to lift off and carry the two of you?
We still have to take inventory of the carts.
I don't think that's a great idea. That mud, it already sunk a bunch of other stuff.
Oh, I suppose you're right. And I do need to find my friends.
And I can't carry you off of this. It's a one person flying.
What, are you saying I'm too fat?
Yeah. I'm agreeable, so yeah.
You see like the bristles on the back of his neck just like immediately stick up.
I
How-
can't.
I pull down the military uniform to like, suck in the gut. How rude.
Is it? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just agreeing with you.
How? No, I was not saying that I am. I was asking why you would think so.
So I think maybe if you can like run and make a big leap over that way to the rest of them, Sarla might be able to catch you. She's much stronger than me and can deal with things that have mass.
I can absolutely do that, and I will prove that this is all muscle.
Uh-huh.
And I want to run and jump as far as I can.
Okay, give me reflexes if you want. Is that what you prefer, or reflexes?
Could I say these are combat abilities, so it's not quite the same. But I do have quick, where I get additional move actions per turn, and flying kick, where I can spend a strength attribute to make a flying kick attack as a minor action.
Who are you attacking?
You're gonna kick Sarla.
Sarla. That's me. That's me, because I'm catching him.
Okay. I'll tell you, yes, you absolutely can. Yes, absolutely. You're gonna flying kick Sarla. This makes perfect sense because Steven didn't listen to games, so of course Steven's going to hurt Melissa's character. That's how this works.
I can get you. You can do this. You've got this.
All right. Does that actually make it a strength, though, instead of reflexes? Because it's an attack?
Does. Yeah, it probably does.
Okay. Well, that means I can't spend any points to do this because that is my final strength point.
It's okay.
Is something bad that happens when you run out?
Nope. Okay, you're fine. You just can't spend anything more.
Okay. Well, let's see how it goes then. Any bonuses for quick?
No.
For having the additional move action? No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nah, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. We'll just let it rip then. And
that you could fall back on the last time you kicked a friend. So do you want to use a memory nut?
I'm going to use a memory nut.
Tell us about the last time you kicked a dear friend or a stranger or something.
His mom.
So, the Hog Republic, everyone in there is, when you're of age, you join the militia. And Mulvon specifically, where Mart is from, is known for its timber and its hunting because of the woods there. And one of the ways that Mart would stay fit for the militia would be to go hunting quite often. But he can be a little scatterbrained sometimes, and sometimes he forgets to bring weapon hunting. So he would just flying kick like a deer or something like that whenever he was out hunting.
Okay. So you flying kick. What's the normal damage you would do?
1d4.
Go ahead and roll a d4. This might not even affect her because she has armor, I think.
I do.
That's a 1.
Yeah, you have enough armor that this isn't going to have any lasting damage on you because you're just going to kick because your armor would take it, and armor is essentially an encounter resource, so it would refresh before you would worry again. So it hurts as you catch him. But you can shake it off.
I think if we're going to do this again, I might recommend not going feet akimbo, perhaps. But you've landed, and you're no longer very deep in the mud. And for that, I'm grateful.
I pick myself up, and I dust off my uniform as best I can, straighten it. I apologize, but it's the only way I really know how to jump.
It was successful. You reached the edge, and that is what is important. Milka, are you going to fly back?
Yeah. I don't want to kick you.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right. So you have to spend the attributes, I think, to fly, but otherwise, I think you're okay, right?
Yes. So I guess I'll probably pull it from reflexes in this instance. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you run, you leap, you coast over, you make it to dry land. And you all realize there is no factory around. So, do you all continue southeasternly, deeper into the forest?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to move the active player up to Milka at this point as we start to descend deeper into the forest. And as we do that, I do want to announce the winner, TK Clear. You have won the copy of Arzium. Congratulations. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for watching all our stuff lately. And thank you for joining the Discord. We'll hit you up on Discord here sometime after stream and we'll figure out how to get a copy to you. All right. But congratulations and thank you. And thank you to Red Raven Games for supplying the copy. Really do appreciate it. All right.
Yay!
So, Melka, you are out in front, and you are kind of pushing forward deeper into this forest that is getting thicker and thicker and older. The trees are getting taller. You can see the trunks are getting wider, and it feels like it's just getting darker too. And some of that's the day is passing for sure, but others it seems like the canopy overhead is growing thicker and thicker. And then finally, you catch this kind of glint between this upper portion of trees, Melka, and you realize it's like this, some kind of tower that is hidden amongst the trees. And eventually, as you push through and you get a clearer image of it, you see this tall smokestack that is leaning precariously with its top completely broken off. And you can see that piercing out the side of it are these what looks like gears of some kind or dials. And you realize that it seems to be perched up out of a large factory that is crumbling and rusted, and you can see it's half buried in earth, covered in vines. It seems like there's all sorts of debris every which way. You can tell that there are entire sides of the factory where the walls have just been wrenched open, and you can see that there are paths that go into the factory itself. The factory is probably 2 or 3 stories high. Once or twice, you can see the skeleton of a wall, and inside of it, you can see these rusted catwalks and walkways and these large machines, all of it overrun with vines and foliage of the forest itself. Like, this factory has been here for at least a couple years, several years, in fact, since it was probably last in any kind of condition. You also notice on the ground there are drag marks, large drag marks, as if something has been pulled from the forest across this kind of dirt path, or not dirt path, but kind of dirt ground into the factory itself. So, is there any part of this factory that you're interested in sort of peeking at? Are you looking to go inside? Are you looking to go to the smokestack? Are you looking to follow the tracks? What do you think, Melka?
The leaning tower of the factory. The leaning tower of factory.
Okay.
The smokestack.
Gotcha. So, as you all see, Melka is kind of following away. The tracks kind of lead a different direction through one of the giant holes in the wall. But Melka follows this other stretch of dirt around to like the eastern side, to where the smokestack is kind of tipping to one side. You're at the base, and the base is wrenched up from the earth, and you can see like whatever foundation was laid has been ripped free, and you can kind of enter into this giant cylindrical smokestack from below. Do you climb up?
Oh, nice. Oh, there's a thing we can enter over here.
Right behind you.
Sarla, do you still have your torch?
I'll relight it. Yes, I will.
Okay.
Good idea. She'll get it out of her bag and relight it.
Okay.
Also, there was something big dragged over there, and I don't think we should disturb it. So let's go through here.
Okay.
Right, let's just go crawling into the confined space. That sounds like a great idea.
You get less and less like intelligible every time. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay. So you all begin trudging up this smokestack. It's at about a 45-degree angle, and it's fairly slippery along the way. But you are able to probably together to keep yourselves from slipping too much. It's like going up a slide, if you think about it. But you're able to find enough like handholds and footholds, rivets that have been peeled away from various panels along the inside. Whatever was in here has obviously been scorched along the sides as well. And eventually you find yourselves high above the factory in this broken off top of the smokestack. And that gives you this bird's eye view of the entire factory itself. and you can see that the ceiling is multi-tiered, but you can see the highest tier that you're now looking over is completely gone. But you can see the skeleton of it. You can see like the beams and the struts and such. And then you can also see down into what looks like some kind of factory floor where there are all these like conveyor belts. None of them seem to be functioning currently. And it looks like, well, as you're looking down, Mart, you notice something. As you can see that there is just the tail end of what looks like a large sack of like ropes or chains being dragged across the floor. You can't see what's doing the dragging, but you can see what's in the chains. And you can see that there are 3 hog folk wearing the colorful uniforms that you last saw your friends wearing.
Oh dear. Those are my friends. Those are my escorts, the guards.
Oh,
We need to go down and help them.
Oh, yeah, we do.
We should go rescue them.
Okay.
Get down as fast as I can.
Do we want to? Okay.
Okay, so the way is
Sorry.
down. You could go back you could slide back the way you came and come back in through one of the holes in the wall, or you could try to hop from here onto some of the beams, the cross beams and such, and try to work your way down that way.
Is there anything we could tie a rope to up here where we could like
Sure.
slide down to one of the
Yeah.
beams?
Yeah, there's plenty of like exposed exposed panels and things. You can tear one of those off and find a sturdier like the infrastructure of the smokestack and kind of wrap a rope down. You could do that.
Here, I'll tie my rope and maybe we can slide down so we can be sneaky.
While she's doing that, I think Mart would be a little impatient seeing his friends being dragged.
Okay.
And before she even like gets the rope out of her backpack, he would jump.
Okay, that would be a reflexes test. It is going to be a difficulty of 10 to try to land on one of these beams. And don't worry.
I mean, it makes
if you
sense, like,
fail
your
it,
friends are down
you're
there.
definitely going to hit the ground.
How bad could it be?
2d20 worth
Okay.
of damage.
I do have flying kick with that. No, I'm joking. I'll spend 2 reflex points here. Hell yes, 10 plus 2.
You leap
Wow.
out and you land right on this narrow beam that's maybe 1.5 feet wide, 2 feet wide, and you land right on top of it. You feel it begin to creak a little bit, but then you're able to steady it yourself. And you are on here, and you notice now from where you're at, looking under the second tier of these rooftops, you can actually see what's dragging them now. It looks like a very large robot.
It's a robot.
Okay.
Come on, quick.
I'm
All right,
getting the
Milka,
rope.
you tied the rope, no issue. Gurgle, Cecil, or Sarla, do any of you rashly jump down with Mart, or do you calmly wait for Milka?
It's very easy to do, as I've proven.
Waiting on the rope.
That makes more sense.
Sarla's getting some rope up too, and so we'll have 2 ropes so that we can do this quickly.
Okay.
I mean, who knows? Stupid robot gonna drag him to the death, and I'm gonna be to blame if I don't do something. So I jump down too.
Okay. Give me a reflexes test then. Difficulty 10, Cecil, as you try to land.
Okay. Oh Lord.
Oh, wow.
And while you're doing that, let me say thank you to a couple folks here. The Rebel Pilot first, thank you for the raid. After that, we had Matt in a Hat. Thank you again. And Demon X, all 3 of you, thank you so much for the raid. We really do
Yay.
appreciate it. You guys are all awesome.
All right, I'll toss 2 on it, and we'll cross fingers.
Oh dear.
No.
Memory knot.
Do you want
Yeah.
a memory knot it, or do you want to just take
Come on,
it?
come on.
I think I'll just take it.
Okay.
I'm okay with
Leap.
just like, as much as I like doing memory knots, I think it's okay sometimes to just have like he just jumps down.
Oh yeah. You jump, go to land, and you land like briefly for a moment on the beam, but then can't keep your balance and you fall. And you slam down onto one of these these catwalks, and you just kind of go face first. And you're gonna take, let's make it I'm just rolling some die. 5 points of damage as you fall. If you have armor, it can come off your armor first.
Okay, well, that's all my armor. That's what you get for true when you try to be a good person. That's why you get just... God damn it.
I think your armor stays. It just takes 4 off of the 5.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's almost like temp HP or however you want to do it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So for now,
so I'll take 4 off of armor and then 1 off of health.
And as you do so, and as you're going to get up, you hear the metal snap, and suddenly the catwalk flops down, and you slide down it onto this open.
What the hell is this?
Floor, the factory floor, and you hear intruder, and you look over, and you see by one of the corners of this room, there appears to be a robot that is now beginning to float in your direction. And then I don't even know
these assholes.
The second one that was dragging the hogfolk turned. The rest of you can see that Cecil has fallen all the way down. You hear the sounds of like these intruder calls coming from these ancient robots. Well, I'm not sure if they're ancient, but they're old robots. Melka, Gurgle, Sarla, you were able to climb down onto the beam without issue. The 4 of you are on top of the beam, and you see these two giant robots beginning to close down on Cecil, who's all by himself. What do you do?
That's the spirit, Cecil. Tally ho! And I jump and I try to slide down the catwalk that he just broke.
Make a reflex test. You got this. This is great.
Does it have to be a 10 again?
No, this is just a 7.
My voice is naturally going higher.
You were landing on like a 2-foot wide beam from like about 15 feet. That was pretty difficult.
I was just trying to decide how many points I want to spend. I'm just going to roll a straight die then.
Okay.
That's fair. Okay. I missed that one. 3.
And so you jump, you land, and you tumble down, and you just do so in an extraordinarily dumb way. And you like kind of stumble, and you, as Cecil's going to get up, you slide down, you knock into them, the 2 of you fall over. You're only going to take 2 points of damage there, Mark.
All right, coming off my 1 armor.
Goes off your armor first, and then it'll come off your health after that. And now the 2 of you are down here on the factory floor as these 2 robots are coming closer. Melka, Sarla, Gurgle, what do you do?
I've got your back, and I'll prepare a bow.
Okay. Just going to draw your bow out and kind of shoot from above. Okay. Melka, Sarla, what about the 2 of you?
Stormstone away!
Okay. Ooh. So you're just gonna basically I'm just asking you, are you throwing from range? We're not in combat yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Sarla?
Sarla will throw a bottle demon from range.
Okay, so the 3 of you are going to stay up on the beam, and you're going to try to attack from range, while Cecil and Mart are kind of up close. All right, let's move into combat then, as we are in fact going to have a combat here. Let's
yay, combat.
Or you know what? I should change. I should jump down. Sorry. I thought about who my character is and how much armor I have and realized that I should jump down. So
give me a reflexes test to hop down safely.
Okay. Yeah, I rolled an 8. I'm good.
Okay.
Nice.
So if you roll an 8, you are good. All right. So let's talk for a second about how combat works. So combat in this game is somewhat abstracted in terms of its movements. Basically, everybody is in their there's no real range. There's really just groups. And so at the start of combat, which is where we're at right now, everyone is essentially in their own range, is in their own group. There are 2 types of attacks effectively. There's melee attacks, which you can only do if you're in the same group as a target, and ranged attacks, which you can only do you can only do against an enemy you can see. So as long as you can see it, you're good. On your turn, and it just works like normal. All of you get to go first, unless it's a specific situation. Otherwise, in this case, I'm fine with you all going first. All of you get to take a turn. On each of your turns, you basically can do, what you think you can normally do, like a minor move type of action, where you can kind of move from where you're at into a group or out of a group or something like that. But this has to be done before you take a combat action. So you can't take a combat action and then move. It's got to come first. Then when you take a combat action, it's basically what you think it is, attacking, casting spells, or doing what are called gambits. Gambits are basically an improvised action or some sort of strategy that's intended to give you a benefit in some way, change the battle in some way. So you describe what it is you want to do, and then you normally have to do a test to see if you're successful or if you suffer consequences. So this could be like the examples in the book are like causing a rock slide or disarming an opponent or knocking them prone or whatever it might be, or knocking them over a cliff, I think was one of them. You also can do a minor action. A minor action is basically in addition to those. You could do it whenever it's like swapping weapons, opening a door, using a consumable. Consumables are specifically items that are marked with an asterisk. So the storm stone that you were talking about, Melka, that would be a consumable, or picking something up, calling out orders, that kind of thing. Now, enemies in this game, there's a lot of info that is essentially free to you, like and there's health and then there's power. Health is what you think it is. Power is essentially a resource they have that gives them a bonus to damage if they hit you. Some of you might have some abilities that, or some ways to damage power. It might be like minus 1d4 power or minus 1 power or something like that, as opposed to actual normal damage of health, and that can reduce their power. Whenever the enemy gets a turn, they basically get to increase their power. So being able to damage power is a way to weaken them. It's basically like debuffing, if you want to think about it in those terms. Okay. Any questions on any of that? We kind of.
Not
It's
yet.
pretty straightforward.
Okay. Yeah.
It moves pretty swiftly. And it's pretty fun. Like I really enjoy it. Okay, let's get some action music up, and you all can move and you all can go in any order you want. And again, I just have this little combat thing, not because this is what it looks like. It's just giving us an idea to track groups. That's all this is here for, right? Just to help us with that. Okay. So you all get to go first. There are two of these robots that are beginning to float in your direction. They are quite literally floating or flying, and you can see they have multiple arms hanging down them with them, pincers, and they're quite large too. As they're closing in on you, who would like to go first?
Seeing as they're stumbling around, I could provide backup fire because I'm pretty sturdy right now. So
Yeah,
I will
nice.
join Melka as a group and fire from range with my bow.
Okay, so basically right now, all of you you don't have to join her as a group, but if you would like to, you certainly could. So you and Melka basically are one, and then which one are you going to fire on? We'll say the one to the east or the one to the west.
So the east one.
Okay, so you guys would know this. This is information you know. They have 34 health apiece, and they have 4 power.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. All right, Gurgle.
Okay, my bow attack is a 1d6 plus my perception. I think that's damage.
Yes, so that's the other thing I should tell you is that in this game, you don't have to roll to hit. You just roll for damage. So your different weapons and your spells or various other equipment you might have will tell you how much damage, what damage die goes with it. And it'll also tell you an attribute. So maybe like 1d6 perception, for instance. Just like rolling skill tests, you can choose to spend your points from that attribute to get a damage bonus on your roll. So it works exactly the same. It's just you're rolling a different die. Skill checks always do like a d10. Damage checks are variable depending upon the weapon or the spell.
So I'll spend 2 perception on the first bow attack. Or a bow,
Okay.
It's got a nice fin texture on it. A little bit scaly.
Absolutely.
Not much.
Okay, so you take your shot. So as you kind of aim down between the wreckage.
5 total damage between.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you fire down, and you can see there's all of these catwalks and beams and stuff, and you manage to wait until that robot gets close and close, and then you can get a free shot. And the arrow just like flies like right between all this different like lattice work, this metal lattice work, and you see it, and suddenly like it moves in this weird way. You see this small little explosion of electricity as you do in fact hit it, and that is your turn, unless you have a minor action that you wanted to do.
I think I can. Let me check real quick. Oh, rapid fire. Okay. So if I spend 1 perception, I can attack
Mhm.
again, but using a minor action.
Nice.
Okay. Do you want to do that?
Very nice.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and spend 1 perception and load up another shot.
You see, like, the first shot gets it to stutter for a second, and so it stays right in that opening through the lattice work, that metal lattice work, and you fire down. What's the second shot?
This will be 2.
Okay, so 2 more damage. That's still great, man. You fire down. You see these tiny little lights and stuff that are on some of the panels just pop open, and it definitely seems like you've at least slowed it a bit. Who would like to go next?
I
Sure.
suppose.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
sorry. I was gonna
Nope.
just say I'll throw the being grouped with Gurgle. I'll just throw the Stormstone down at the same robot.
Okay, that sounds great. Go ahead and roll the damage for that.
For can I add an attribute to this? Because I don't know the details on this one.
So basically, a Stormstone does 1d4 damage. It is a ranged attack. The target must succeed at a strength challenge, or it has to move out of group. So a Stormstone, basically what it's for is it's essentially for moving it.
Okay.
Right now, because it's just a solo thing, you're not going to move. It's not going to move anywhere else because it's already not in a group. So it's probably not actually going to have the effect that you would want from it. Because it's not in a group at the moment.
Okay. Sure. Okay, then I'm gonna still throw it for the D4 damage to it. Every chip counts, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
It's just all right. Hoping for a high number. 2 damage.
Okay. And so you kind of you look for the hole in all of the different debris. You chuck the stone down. It explodes right next to it. You see it kind of shift. It shoves it back a little bit, but it is still able to kind of regather itself. There's some little sparks and stuff coming out of a few of its seams and where some of its equipment is kind of tied together, but it still seems undeterred in its movement towards where Cecil and Mart are on the ground. Cecil, did you want to go?
Yeah. So I could potentially do like a move, minor action attack sort of thing.
Exactly. So you can move. So basically, if you wanted to melee attack one of them, you would need to move into their group. So you'd pick one and you'd move into their group.
I'll move to the left, and as I'm moving towards them, I'll ready up a minor action of Spice Throw. As he moves to them, he's kind of like weaving, dipping and dodging, pulls into like a little pouch of his chef's vest and he'll pull like a pack full of cayenne powder and just toss it up into its array of sensors to do the Spice Throw action.
Nice.
Okay.
I spend a supply and they lose a D6 power.
Okay. I would say even though this enemy doesn't have traditional eyes, it does have optical lenses. And so I'm going to say it could clog up those lenses. So
yeah, just kind of gucking up its system, so to speak.
And you said it's the left one you're going towards? The one on the
Yeah,
list?
I'll go towards the left one. Like I can see they're shooting down at the other one. And, we'll go towards whichever one looks like it's dragging hogs.
Okay. They had left that was the one that was dragging hogs, but it did leave the sack of hogs on the complete far side of the factory to come join this fray. Give me a D6 so I know how much power you reduce.
I'll reduce his power by 4.
All right.
Gucking up
any
his systems with some
damage.
cayenne powder.
Okay.
And then just like a ninja dropping a smoke bomb, as the cayenne powder clears, he's like drawn out 2 knives and starts lunging at it.
Like, optical display. And it's like picking its pincer up and it's like almost trying to pinch one of its eyes out. And you still have your combat action. So a minor action can happen at any point in your turn. You moved.
Okay.
You still have a combat action if you wanted to attack it.
I do. So I'll use Slice and Dice to use 2 knives, and basically I can roll with both of them.
Absolutely.
And I have weapon expertise in knives. So they're a D4 each, and they have a +2 each. So I'll do 2D4 +4.
That sounds great.
Nice.
As it's currently trying to like clean its optical lenses, you just slip in behind it and you start hacking away.
Okay.
For
I'll
9
do
damage.
9.
That's fantastic. As you begin to hack away at this thing, and the two of them have taken some damage now, you start cutting at some of the wires, you jab a knife in between some of the seams of their panels and pry, and you're able to give it a bit of trouble. It starts to kind of list one way, but then rights itself, and it seems to be that it's okay. All right, so 1, 2. Okay, so this is... Sorry. Okay. So, and that is your turn.
Mm-hmm.
They have a special attack that is triggering now. Their special attack is that each time they are the target of a melee attack, they get a counter attack. And so, as you're hacking away with these blades, one of these pincers just reaches out and tries to tear at you. And this is going to deal a D8 damage to the attacker. That's going to deal 3 points of damage to you, Cecil.
Okay. That's what you get for saving pigs.
Okay. Let's see. Sarla or Mart, I believe, still has to go.
So Sarla, kind of seeing this, she's so she is going to move. She's going to follow Cecil.
Okay.
So she's going to move up to the one on the left.
Okay.
What she would like to do for her, what I'm actually looking to do is 2 minor actions, because I want to throw something and I want to bite it with a minor action.
Okay.
So
we can say that the bite can be your combat action, then. I'm fine with it.
Okay. Because I have a bottled demon, which is a 1d10. Now it's technically 1d10 spirit damage, so I don't know if there's something where maybe that wouldn't work against the robots.
So enemies, some enemies do have resistances. That is not open information. So you wouldn't know open information about that. You would only know its power and its health. So they have specials, they have abilities, they have resistances, stuff like that.
Okay. So basically one of the things for me with machinery is that every time I rest, I get a bottled demon. So I feel like Sarla would throw bottled demons out when we run across things, because they're something that she can create regularly. So I'm going to roll a d10 for that.
Okay.
We get a 3.
All right.
So I know, and I'm throwing it back. Sorry. I ran up to the one on the left and I'm throwing it to the one on the right.
Okay. That's fine. You said you rolled 3 damage?
Yeah.
Okay. I will let you all know that that you are noticing that they are quite sturdy. These are metal creatures, so basically they do have some resistances that are coming into play. Not a lot, but a little bit. That's slightly minimizing the damage that you're doing. So then Starla, now you're in melee with Cecil in the second of these robots, the one on the west. What would you like to do?
Yes, and thank you, Jeremy. I needed to reread this again. So I can use Deadly Bite as a normal attack. It does not require me to spend a strength, and it deals 1d6 plus strength damage. So thank you for the assist on that. I will spend I'll spend 2 strength.
Okay.
Leave myself with 1. Hopefully
2.
This is going to be okay. Roll the 2, so that's a 4 total.
Okay. So you come up and you can see that it's managed to wipe some of its eyes free, and as you bite down onto one of its arms, one of its other, you can see like there's a little receptacle on the other side that opens up, and like a 4th arm comes out, and you hear bzzz as it starts to kind of cut through you, as it is going to do its counterattack. As it's going to attack right back at you. 7 points of damage at Sarla. Armor first.
Yeah. So sorry. So if it says 1d6 plus strength, is that 1d6 plus however much strength I spent, or 1d6 plus my strength score?
No, it's 1d6 plus however many points that you wanted to invest.
That's what I thought.
2.
Okay.
You said 2.
I did.
So
yeah. It doesn't have to. So I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. Okay. So 7 is thanks to the good food. My armor is currently 7. So I normally have 4. I had 3 from the food. So I now have 0 armor, but didn't take any damage.
Cuts through it. Griff, there's no limit to reactions. This is just what it does whenever it's attacked in melee. Okay, this isn't D&D, so it doesn't have. It's like don't think of this game as D&D. Okay, so last we have is Mart.
All right. One quick rules question: does casting a spell in combat count as like a attack? Like
It's a
the big
combat action. Casting a spell is a combat action.
Perfect. So Mart wants to use his move action to run up to join the group that we're amassing here, the one on the left there. And he is going to use a minor action to taunt, spending 1 cunning to remove 2 power. No, actually, can I spend minor actions after combat, or does it have to happen?
Minor
before?
actions are any point. Movement action has to. A movement action has to be for your combat action, but a minor can be any point in the turn.
Sorry, I forgot that he took out the willpower. I'm going to go to the one on the right.
Okay.
And I'm going to taunt him instead. And I imagine the way I'm taunting is that I'm running up, tally ho! And I do like, I just run past and I just like start slapping like the hull of this thing to like just get its attention because I can't do much else. I assume that they wouldn't really respond to emotional taunts. So that'll be my movement, my minor action. And then for my combat action, I want to pull out of a pocket. And I'm going to flavor this. I have quick so that I can keep moving after my combat action. So as I'm moving, I pull out of my pocket this tuft of hog folk hair, like the long bristles, and it's just a pack of it. And I start doing like balloon animal twisting to create this robot-esque shape. Really, it's just one loop with a whole bunch of little feet on the bottom. And then after it's finished, I just rip it apart. And I'm doing an hourglass curse on this guy. I spend 1 cunning, and he's cursed for 1 hour. So there, I'm spending my cunning there, spending my cunning there.
Okay, so basically,
and then for
he rolls twice. He rolls twice on his damage rolls and takes the worst.
Yes.
So, that's what it is.
And then for my final movement action for quick, I'm joining the group over here, hoping that we can get these robots to group up and do some splash damage. I don't know.
Okay, so can you walk me through your turn again? Because you did a lot of stuff.
Yes.
And I would like to
I moved up to the one on the right. I did my minor action to taunt him. I did my combat action for the spell. And then because I have the quick ability, it gives me a final move action after taking a combat action. 1 additional move action per turn. And it has to be after combat. So I'm doing that to move over to the other group.
I guess my question was, why did you move up to the one on the right in the first place? I don't think that was necessary.
The power, to take the power away.
It's not required.
It is target within sight. I guess
just to be a jerk.
Just
suck it.
Complicate things.
You can't touch me.
Just cause.
Okay.
My thought was that if I taunt it, then I'd be able to like hopefully lure it over, and I forgot that it was within sight.
That's fine. And you did the hourglass thing to reduce its power by 2? Is that correct?
The taunt reduced its power by 2.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Okay. And the hourglass is the curse. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Your turn is done. It is now their turn. So when they go, they basically get a power, and then they continue. And they take their turn. So an enemy turn, they can, in any order, they can move and then perform a combat action. And whenever they attack a PC, each power token that they have adds +1 damage to the attack. And once all enemies go, it comes back to you all, and you all get to go again. So we'll start with the one on the west, which now has 1 power because it gains 1 back, but there was the 4 that was depleted by Cecil. I have 3 different targets right next to me, so I'm just going to roll randomly to see which one I attack. It will in fact be Cracks. So I rolled a 1 on my d6. So it's going to turn and it's going to attack you. This is not the cursed one. So a arc of electricity essentially comes out. You can see comes out and tries to shock you, Sarla. So this is going to be a d4 plus 1 is what the damage it's going to do is. So it's going to be 3 total damage. Okay. And then the second one, so that one didn't move. The second one, which is back up to 4, is backed up to 3. This is the one that was getting attacked from ranged. So I think this one is going to, flavor-wise, it's just kind of move until it's completely under the two of you that are firing down at it from above. And it's going to fire up at one of the two of you. So let me roll randomly. It's going to fire at Gurgle. So it's got to roll 2d4 and take the lowest because it's cursed, but it does have +3 to this damage. So the first d4 was a 4. The second one was a 3. So that's 6 points of damage to Gurgle as you see this arc of electricity go directly up and shock and hit Gurgle. And you and a little bit kind of comes out on the beam, and you can kind of feel everything, kind of this stack electricity thing go around. It's not AoE though. It's just it is just targeting Gurgle. Okay.
So all of a sudden I feel hungry because that food I had earlier was protecting me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I lose 2 armor on top of it.
Okay. And that is the end of their turn. There's one that's directly below Melka and Gurgle firing. There's another that's now surrounded by Mart and by Cecil and by Sarla, still on the ground. And it is your turns. Who would like to go first?
One correction on my turn. I forgot I have to roll on the whimsical magic when I do my curse.
Thank you.
And I rolled a 5, so I smell like rotting garbage for one day.
Okay. Okay. There's a phrase about a pig in something, so I guess that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh dear.
What? Who would like to go first?
Can I do? Oh, sorry. Yeah, every
No,
time.
you
Jeremy,
first.
sorry. Can I do a bit of a gambit?
Of course.
Can I pull out my guitar and play the most annoying song I know to try to distract or reduce their power in some way?
Yeah. Okay. You could. I mean, that could potentially cause some kind of confusion, maybe. Like you're trying to essentially give it confusion.
Yeah. Just like distract it by. Now, I will sing the song. You will hate me for this song.
Mm-hmm. Is it a Celine
But-
Dion song?
No. It is.
Canada?
No. Rude. That's an excellent song. Thank you very much. Everybody knows the opening.
Okay.
No. It's a little ditty from Lamb Chops. This is the song that never ends. It just goes on and on, my friends. Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was, and we continue singing it forever, just because this is the song that never ends. It just goes on and on, etc.
Okay.
And that thing doesn't stop.
Okay, and now you need to make a roll for this. It's still you're still making a gambit, so a gambit you do need to make a test on this. So I think craft is like the common.
Cunning.
Oh, cunning. Yeah. What am I talking about? You're playing a song. Yeah, cunning's fine. Cunning's fine. My bad.
Thank
My
you.
bad.
It's okay, and I'll dump like 3 cunning into this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll dump 4 cunning into this.
There you go.
All right.
And live
This one has been pretty good to me so far today. Oopsie. That is a 5 plus the 4 I dumped in for a total of 9.
Okay, so we're gonna say this. The one to the east now is both cursed, and we're gonna say confused. Yeah, I'm actually gonna put. I can put little markers on here, can I? Do they have confused on here? They have cursed. I don't see a confused, unfortunately. We'll just make it science. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
So the one to the east is now confused. It's like, stop that racket. Stop. Audible.
This is the song that never ends. It just keeps on and on, my friends.
No, seriously, stop, please. Okay.
Someone's singing it. I don't know what is.
All right. So, okay. So that is your turn. You're good?
Yes.
All right. Cecil.
I want to try to do something that hopefully might help over here.
Hopefully.
That's my hope. Sarla is a machinist. So instead of trying to hit this thing, Sarla wants to like take this thing out. So use her knowledge of machinery to try to like turn this robot off to deactivate it, basically. So I'm kind of aiming for like a gambit possibly, because she's got like machinery as a skill that like can repair robots. So maybe she can like hurt robots.
I mean, I'm for you trying to do something to sabotage it, but straight up turning it off is like doing all the damage to it.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So like, I'm fine with you trying to do something to sabotage it. I would say turning it off might be too much of a reach.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't necessarily think it would just like get rid of everything all at once.
One of the examples is stunning an opponent.
There's a difference between stun and turning something off, though, so that's no longer functioning. But yeah, I mean, I'm fine with you. Yeah, I'm fine with you doing something to try to essentially sabotage it and affect it in some negative way. Yeah.
And really the goal that I'm going for is kind of using more craft machinery than strength.
Yeah. No, I'm cool with that.
Okay. So if machinery would work, I'd get a +1 to die rolls, and I would like to spend 2 craft, so I'd be getting a +3 to this roll.
Okay.
And I get a 5, so it's an 8 total.
Okay. What I'll say, just for the sake of saying conditions, as you are kind of sabotaging it, I'll let you flavor it in a second. We'll say it's wounded. Wounded, so like you've kind of damaged it in some way to kind of slow it down, so that its arms aren't moving as quickly, it's not firing as much, and we'll say it's -2 to its damage is basically what that is. It's -2 to its rolls. So describe what it is that you would do to try to sabotage this thing.
So she's got her wrench out, and I think she's tried to position herself as it was sort of like striking at her earlier. And so she's basically just really quickly with her wrench, just sort of like taking off like bolts basically, so that like they're not kind of like swinging as tightly. So they kind of try to move them and they're a little bit loose. So she's just kind of like loosening bolts around on the arms.
I'm going to say, though, this is going to trigger its counterattack, I think, because you're in melee range and you're tinkering with it. But the -2 will apply to it right off the bat. So right now it's attacking you with D8 -1. So essentially what its total bonus would be right now, which means it's only going to do 1 point of damage to you, as I rolled a 2 on the D8. So 1 point of damage as like the arm comes down slowly, and you can feel it doesn't quite have the grip strength, as you kind of gunked up the gears in some kind of way as it's moving much more slowly. Okay.
Sorry, Cecil, I kind of jumped you, but I was hoping that I could help you.
No, you're good. I had a different way of going about it, but I think you kind of did what I was going to aim to do as well. So yeah, while she's like playing with the arms and stuff, I'll continue just slicing and dicing. Then I think. I'll dump my remaining reflexes in, since knives go off reflexes. I'll figure that out.
Yeah.
So that'll get me up to
just trying to stab away at it.
2d4 +6.
Wow.
Nice.
That is a lot of damage, potentially.
Do 10.
10 points is
so as
amazing.
You're distracting it, he's kind of going in and out, looking for nooks and crannies.
Each like stab, you feel like a shudder, as like a bit of like the inner gears and the mechanisms are like shooting back this bits of electricity. You feel these like sharp pains kind of come up your hand a bit, and your hand kind of goes numb from the reverberation. And then it's going to try to like carve through you with one of its its arms. Right. This is going to be it's going to be a D8. And it's going to be -1, because right now it has 1 power, and it's got the -2 from the wounded.
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 4. -1 is 3. So 3 points of damage to Cecil.
I'm still standing.
Oh,
okay.
So close. So close.
Okay. Then we've got Mart or Gurgle. What would you like to do?
I'll go. No movement action this time, because I'm already next to one. Minor action, I'd like to pull out my singing skull, and I believe it starts singing the song that never ends.
This is the song that never ends.
No, I'm sorry. That's not what it sings.
Jeff has this playlist of Celine
It
Dion.
actually sings this. If I kiss you like this, and if you whisper like that, it was lost long ago, but it's all coming back to me. That's what it sings.
So we've
In the
got
middle
two
of this
competing
fight.
songs over here.
Yeah.
God.
And I regain 2 cunning for that.
This is the song that
If you
never
need
ends.
me
It just
like
goes on
that.
and on, my friend.
It was
In the
long
brown.
ago,
Someone
but
started
it's
singing it
all
forever just because.
coming back to me.
And
Steven,
then,
And they'll
roll.
continue singing.
Oh my
I'm
God,
gonna
how
use
the
my
long-
combat
long
action.
Stuck. We've frozen long in place.
We broke
Look at
him.
froze
He's
long.
done.
Broke long.
He's left us forever.
I'm going to use my combat action to just attack the robot with my dagger, spending 1
Okay.
point of my reflexes.
Okay.
4 damage.
4 damage.
Get him.
And this is the one in the west. All right, so this is, calculating its damage resistance. And then it will also counterattack you, again with a -1. I rolled a 5, so it's 4 points of damage coming back out at you. Sorry, long as he'll be back in a sec. He'll be back in a sec.
Yeah, I don't have any more armor, so that's a big hit there. I'm down to
Okay.
1 health.
Okay. So
It's
Um,
okay. It's all right.
Yeah, it's on until you're off, right? And I will use my movement action to move away from this guy. Because I've got quick, so that happens after
quick.
every
Okay.
turn.
All right. Okay, so you do move away,
That's
so
it.
you are potentially not an attack. If, however, it has range attacks, but it does. Okay, so Long's not here.
No.
Long's the one who would actually be going. So let's take a look at Long's character really fast. Probably just do the same thing we did last time, you think? Just do a rapid fire.
Rapid
He's
fire,
got 3
2
points of
attacks.
perception left. Okay. And so he's got a... Where the hell's his bow? Okay, bow. 1d6.
He's 1d6. Yeah, plus perception. Spend 2 perception.
So I'll say... I don't want to spend too much because you have to spend 1 to use rapid fire as a minor action. So we'll say no spend on the first just so that we have enough. I don't want to spend too much of his stuff. So the first shot does 4. Okay. And then the second shot does... So I'll spend 1 perception on that. That still leaves him 2 for the next round if there is a next round. And the next one is another 4. Okay, so he basically fires 2 shots down, and it plinks, boom, boom, 2 more, and you see sparks coming out. This thing definitely looks very confused as it's spinning around in circles. All right, I'm going to... I know the minute I fix where Kipser is, Long's going to come back in, so I'm going to go ahead and do
Right.
that now.
All right, I'm having fun.
It'll be good. This is what brings Long back.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
if I can figure out which one of these is actually her character. What?
Oh,
Where is it?
Long's got some health left.
Alright. Okay. Let's go ahead and slide you over
Jeremy,
there.
you've got how much health left?
Okay.
Uh,
Okay, Kipser.
2.
I've got more than one.
More than 1.
These
I
things
have
are
more
going
than
to
2.
Get a
There you
power.
go.
0.
Okay.
These things are going to get a power. Don't forget, they got debuffs and stuff on them, so there's always that. Okay. The one that is beneath where Melka and Gurgle are is going to fire another ranged shot up. This time it's going to attack Melka. So it's going to be a D4 plus 4, but it's got to roll twice and take the lesser of its D4s that it's firing. Okay, so the first one is a 3, and the second one is a 2. So it'll take the 2 plus 4 is 6. So it's doing 6 points of damage to
Ouch.
Melka off your armor first.
Yeah, which is the 3 from the lovely soup. There we go.
Yay.
And then you said 6?
6 indeed, yeah.
Okay, ouch. So 4
Okay.
HP left.
All right, so that thing was Wasn't there 2 things this thing had? It was confusion.
I think that I'm pretty sure that's all
It
good.
has No, hang on. Before we do that, it might have actually attacked. When it attacks, a 1 or 2 hits the ally in range. So that shot, as it fires up at Melka, it ricochets off one of the metal beams and comes right back down and actually hits the second of these ancient robots, because I rolled a 2 on my D4.
Hey.
Because it's confused.
Yes.
Because it
Nice.
hears the
Yay.
singing coming from over there, from like as like the skull comes out. Would you like this?
You should have sung that up, but you started singing it.
And then the lightning strikes, and I said it was 6 points, right? So that 6 points is
Yes.
going to
Wow.
instead go over to this one, and the one on
Nice
the west
job
is
with that
not looking
confusion.
good. It's looking quite bad, and so the one on the west then will go. And I'm going to say I don't see any reason for it to necessarily do anything other than choose between the 2 people it has in front of it. So that's what it's going to do. So let's see, randomly, it's going to go for Cecil.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that's not true. It's going to go, I rolled a 1. It's going to roll for Sarla.
Okay.
Okay, Sarla. All right. So this is getting a straight D8 because it's got, or excuse me, straight D4. I beg your pardon. Because it's got a -2 because you managed to sabotage and wound it, and it also has 2 power, and so those are going to cancel each other out. It's got a D4, does 1 point of damage to you, Sarla.
Oh, thank goodness.
Okay. The various things that you have done to kind of distract these things and confuse these things has definitely been helping, and is now back to you all. Who would like to go first? The one on the west does not look good. It looks that lightning strike, you can tell it's left some scorch marks. There's all sorts of these stab wounds where the metal has been pried from Cecil's knives, and then you can see one of the arms has essentially been bitten and ripped out of its sockets. So this one is not looking good at all. And you guys should know. You guys get to know the HP. It has 5 HP left. The one in the east has 19 HP left.
Should I go for the one on the west because I can guarantee put it down?
Yeah.
And then if I put it down, it can't counterattack.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
That seems.
I
Yep.
think that makes sense. It's dead.
I
Okay,
believe in
so-
you. You can do this.
I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, basically 2d4 plus 4. There's no way not to do 5. So,
Okay. Yeah, you don't have to roll it then. Yeah, because you technically need to do 6 damage to it because it has 1
Okay.
damage resistance. So you should roll it because you do need a 6.
I definitely get that too, but I'll still
do you?
roll.
Oh yeah, because you have
'cause
plus
it's
4. Never
2d4.
mind. You have plus 4. You're good. Yeah. So just describe how you kill it. Then we'll say.
It is very much like the whole thing, like dipping and dodging, and at this point he's beat to hell.
Mhm.
He's kind of like getting the knife in one spot, prying a panel open, crawling up onto it, shoving a knife down into another panel, putting his foot down in the back of the equivalent of what its head would be, and like dragging it to the ground and just rubbing its face in the muck until it stops moving.
And eventually,
How do you? Don't want you? Just stop hurting these damn hogs. These little pigs are not going to market. You leave them alone.
and it eventually becomes as it's like singeing out these different sparks. It eventually becomes inert. Okay, 1 more left, and it is currently at 19 HP. 4 of you still have to go, as Cecil is already gone. Who goes next?
I'll go real quick.
All right,
So I will move up to it.
gotcha.
Minor action, I take the singing skull, and all right, it's time for you to go away again. Put him in the satchel.
The moments ago,
Pull out-
and there were flashes of light. Right here.
I pull out an elixir of healing, and then I close the satchel so the singing gets muffled again.
Okay.
And I drink the elixir of healing. That is a minor action to do, right?
Yes.
Or is that
using
too
a
much to
consumable.
swap?
Yeah,
and undo?
it's using a consumable.
Using a consumable.
Okay.
Yep.
So
The
that
game
restores
expects
5
you all
health.
to use your consumables pretty regularly, like every encounter. It's because you're going to be getting them back. It's not one of those things where you sit on them for forever, like in case you might need them at some point. The balance of the game, if there is balance, is partly supposing your use of these consumables.
Gotcha. So I drink the elixir of health, and then combat action, I continue with the dagger on this new guy, and just slash at him. I don't have any more reflexes to add, so it's a straight D4.
Okay.
2 damage.
All right. Some of that goes through, but you can definitely tell it's got a thick carapace. It's going to attack you back with a D8 plus 4. However, I have to roll twice, and I take the lower. And if I roll a 1 or a 2, I need to attack an ally in range. There is no ally in range, however. So the first one was a lolly, so it was an 8. Second one, second one's a 7, so that's 11 points of damage.
Oh,
to Mark.
gosh.
So you drop me down to -5.
Okay, so as it reaches out, you feel a pincer dig into your side. It lifts you up and just slams you down on the ground a few times. Stop your audio pollution. Oh, he's back. Okay. I don't think you have to do anything immediately when you're at dying.
Instead of taking an
when you-
action, I roll a D6. So I assume that's on my next turn,
I think so.
because I already
It
took
is.
my action.
I don't think you have to do anything immediate. I think it's on your turn.
You take the wounded
Okay.
and death door conditions right now when you hit
Right
0,
now.
and then next turn you do the roll.
Okay. All right. So that is Mart. That is Cecil. There's still 3 people left. Sarla, Melka, or Gurgle. Gurgle, one of them is dead. However, Mart is down. One of them is still alive, the one that's confused, and the one that is cursed. So, who wants to go first?
Sarla will move over to the one at the east, and she will use her other bottle demon when she gets there. So she's hoping
Okay.
for a better roll on this D10 than the
Does your
last
bottle
one.
demon need to be in melee range?
It's ranged.
No, it's ranged.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But if it's still alive, I'm going to bite it as a minor action after this. So that's why I
Okay,
wanted
so we'll
to
say
be
you
close.
you chuck the bottle demon first and you chase in after. Roll your damage for your bottle demon.
8.
That's fantastic. It is still alive, but it's down to 11. As you see, like this flame erupt as the demon shakes free, and for a moment you see the actual demon itself kind of course around it, dig into its various gears and innards, and then begins to dissipate. But you can see that it's left behind this like reddish residue, and you can tell that the machine is certainly shaking. So you're gonna do an attack now.
Yeah, so I am going to. So I'm not required to spend the 1 strength for the bite attack. So I will spend my remaining strength as a +1
Okay.
on this. So
Yeah.
it's a D6 +1 for the
Okay.
bite.
With your
With
bite.
my bite,
Okay.
I did 4 damage.
So right now, resetting, we've got 1 dead, 1 destroyed robot, a second robot still up, but very confused. Sarla just bit it. It wildly attacked Sarla, but Sarla managed to dodge. Both, actually, only one of you, I think that's Mart, is laying on the ground next to it. Sarla's still actually up. We still have Melka and Gurgle to go. So, what would you
So-
like to do?
Melka, seeing that Mart, her new friend, has fallen to the ground, will go, oh no! And she will swap her guitar out for her saber, and she is going to, this might sound familiar, jump down at it and try to attack it with her sword again.
Nice.
Okay. This sounds very familiar. As you're going to leap
It's-
off the roof, give me a reflexes test to leap off the roof safely.
Yeah.
Got this.
All right. I'm gonna hold on to my reflexes. Just, yeah, that's an 8.
Okay. You make it down.
All right.
You slide down all badass like, and then you
Yeah.
hop right down next to it as it spins around, is attacking at and trying to stab at Sarla. What would you like to do?
And I am going to try to hit it with my saber, which, let's see here. It is a D6 plus reflexes. I'm going to dump the 2 reflexes I have remaining into it. And then I'll
Yeah.
roll a D6 for damage. So 4 damage total.
Okay. 4 damage
Nice.
total. Some of that is, and that was a melee attack, right?
Maybe.
As it tries to lunge back out at you.
Yep.
Roll 2, take the lower. The lower was a 3. 3 plus 4, which is its current power, is 7 back to you, Melka.
I go down.
Okay,
Oh,
Melka, you fall. Okay, it's down to like just a few health. How much damage did you do again? You said 5?
I did 4 points of damage.
4 points. Okay.
Oh,
All right,
it's so close.
Gurgle, it's up to you.
I've got it. It's slowing down.
Okay.
I will shoot 2
All
arrows
right.
at once.
I left you all
You
your
got this.
perception for your last turn, so go for it.
I'll spend 2.
Okay. Remember that you have to leave 1 point to be able to do your rapid fire. If you wanted to shoot twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I'll spend a third for the minor action shot.
Okay. What's the first attack as you fire down?
First attack will be 7. Or 7.
7. Describe how you kill this thing, as that is enough to take it out. Describe what it looks like,
Nice.
Gurgle.
Well, bone arrow from my quilt. Put a second one in. Fire both at the same times. I hit the hose. Cuts that. Starts leaking all over the place. Spilling oil. Coolant. Shuts down.
And it's oil just splurting left and right, and it falls down, somehow barely missing Mart. And it comes inert.
Nice.
So as we take stock of things, we have 2 people down, Melka and Mart. We've got both of the robots. We can see a group of 3 hogfolk have been dragged off to the corner. They seem to be moving and stuck within some sort of chains. We'll say in this scene, everyone kind of rushes to lend aid to this person or that person. And we'll go ahead and we'll end our session there as people are tending to each other, and you have in fact defeated them. And that was our first taste of combat too. So there you go.
Nice.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So, we'll pick up there next week with Mart reunited with his hogfolk friends who can probably care for him, and you all having reached the factory. And that's where we're at.
Okay. Hearing you do Mart's voice.
What's that?
No.
Well,
I
Mart's
look forward to hearing you do Mart.
Mart's unconscious, so I figure they're
He'll
just
be conscious
no,
again.
he won't. Nope,
Yeah.
he won't.
Don't worry, you've got a doctor here. I don't even have to roll for it.
Oh my god, the robot caught on fire and the oil was on
Oh,
Mart,
yeah, sorry,
and now
doctor can't
Mart's
stop robot
cooking.
fire.
Yeah.
It's my one weakness.
Y'all smell
I can heal
bacon?
anything but
Did say
robot
it spewed
fire.
all
Bacon.
over.
Bacon? Anyone
Oh
smell
my
bacon? Oh goodness.
Bacon?
Oh, actually, oh no, he's gone.
No,
There's nothing we could have done about this.
Hate
Breakfast
to have
is
him
on
go to
me.
waste.
Just a shame. All right, that's that. Let's go ahead and do our closing plugs. We'll get on out of here. Thank you for bearing with us through the small little mechanical problems at the end there. Steven, I'm gonna toss it to you because I hear you have things that you'd like to plug.
I do. I created my own tabletop RPG called Huckleberry. It's a Weird West game. It's a lot of fun horror action. You should definitely check it out. It's available now on drivethroughrpg.com. Links are in the chat. Thanks to Melissa, or they will be because she's awesome. It's a lot of fun. We got a big update in the works that's coming out. It's in early access right now, so it's going to get a lot of updates over the next year. And our first big one's coming out soon. So check it out.
Fantastic. Let's see. As for us, what do we got next? Tomorrow night, we have more whimsical fantasy fun as Aaron should be back and ready to go for tomorrow night as we're playing through some Dragonbane. You can see almost everyone here. We switch out. Who do we switch out? Actually, no, I think it's just 4 of us. Yeah. So Ashley hops in and Aaron hops in. And yeah, that's our full group. Saturday, we're back to Call of Cthulhu. We got back into it last week. We're playing through Eternal Lies. And we just picked up our new character in Casablanca, which is a lot of fun. And then we're heading out to Bangkok to get into some trouble. And then Monday, you're going to catch Melissa, myself, and Jeremy as we are playing through Otherscape down in Arizona Bay. The 8B.
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 Yippee. You're welcome.
Just has a different tone to it when Melissa did it.
A little bit.
Just a different tone. Oh goodness. And then Steven, you hop back into the GM seat for Tuesday, where we're playing more Star Trek. We good to go for Tuesday?
Yeah, playing
All
more
right.
Star Trek, gonna have more egg annihilation.
All right. Well, that's it for us. Thank you again to the Rebel Pilot. Thank you again to Demonex, and thank you again to Matt in the Hat for the raids. Congratulations to TK Clear for winning the Arzium book. We'll reach out to you on Discord, and thank you to Red Raven Games for supplying the copy. That's it for us. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.